What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Boys Are Back in Town podcast. My name is Dustin. I'm here with my co-host.
Hey guys, it's Brett.
So if you guys are new around here, we just hit 200 subscribers. That's fucking sick. Thank you guys so much. But what we start out with is our fantasy football starts and sits of the week. Then we get into our plays of the week. Then we rock our game picks, and then that's pretty much it. So you want to roll into our starts and sits for this week?
Yeah, my first start is going to be Russell Wilson. The Chargers defense have been awful, except against the Patriots for some reason, but they allow the fourth most points per game to quarterbacks, and he's had at least 8 rush attempts and 30 rushing yards in 4 of his last 5 games, and a rushing touchdown in the last 2. So, we're kind of seeing prime Russell Wilson again, and this should be a shootout with 2 of the worst defenses in the league, with Denver and the Chargers. So, I really like Russ this week.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a shootout, but I do love the Broncos. But from what I've seen from the Chargers last week, I'm really not too certain on what's going on over there. I think that a coaching change is likely coming in the coming weeks, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think Russell Wilson is turning the clock back 5 years or so. He's turning it back up.
Yes, sir.
My start this week, Jake Browning. So Jake Browning absolutely torched this Jaguars defense, put up 354 yards, only 1 touchdown, but he also ran one in. It's just I seen him he just ran out of the pocket and sprinted for 17 yards in the fourth quarter. I feel like they're probably going to put that a little bit more into it. I'm not sure. It looks like Zach Taylor's really just dealing with the situation, and he's not giving up on playoffs yet. So I like Jake Browning.
Yeah, it would be nice to see the Bengals still make the playoffs with a backup quarterback. My next start is A.J. Dillon, who I've never been high on, ever. Assuming Aaron Jones isn't playing again, which, he's hurt all the time. But the Giants allow 22.1 fantasy points per game to running backs. And they have allowed 4 of the last 5 running backs that they played to get 20-plus fantasy points against them. And then A.J. Dillon has at least 14 rush attempts in the last 3 games, all with or without Aaron Jones. And then he only has 1 touchdown this year, passing or rushing and receiving. So I think some positive touchdown regression could be coming his way as well. And you just never know how these games against the Giants will turn out.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants either show up or they don't. It's a hit or a miss, but I do think any running back against our defense will probably do all right. I'm not too sure how Jordan Love is going to do. He might face a little bit of a challenge, or he might torch us like he torched the Chiefs. There's really no telling. I don't know what's going to happen. It's on a Monday night. Hopefully we get a good one. For some reason, it's a doubleheader. I don't know why we brought that back. I hated that, but it is a doubleheader. Yep. Pretty annoying, to be honest.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I hate it. I hated that, yeah. Well, anyways, my start of the week, we're going to roll back and we're going to pick up and go with Monty. So Monty kind of turning it back up. He scored in his last 4 games.
Nice.
And then he missed one. And then he scored in the 4 before that. So, he's absolutely rolling. I think he has a good week again, at least getting in the end zone. It seems like he is their red zone power back. He did get 18 rush attempts, which is honestly a rarity right now for running backs. It seems like maybe a few workhorse running backs are getting 15-plus rush attempts. But, getting 18. He only averaged he only averaged 3.1, but he only had 56 rushing yards. But that is against a really tough Saints rush defense, so I'm not going to count that against him.
Yeah, no, it's amazing seeing the Lions.
And they're playing the Bears, so.
Yeah, it's amazing seeing the Lions being able to use 2 running backs. Kind of like the old Saints with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. They were both top 20 running backs every week. Pretty awesome. Yeah. My next start's going to be Elijah Moore, the Browns wide receiver.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is the 3rd season in a row that Elijah Moore and Joe Flacco have been on the same team. So, Moore averages.
Oh, yeah, sure has. What?
Moore
That's
averages
wild.
9 targets a game with Flacco starting. And the Jaguars allow 31.4 fantasy points per game to wide receivers, which is the 7th most in the league. And Amari Cooper will probably miss this week with a concussion. So with Elijah Moore being the Browns' number one wide receiver and Flacco loving to air out that ball. I don't know. I think this could be a good week for him.
Now that you're saying it, I'm not against it. I think Joe Flacco played a hell of a game. He looked confident in the pocket without even really knowing the Browns playbook. They almost came out with the dub. I was rooting for it. But, that sounds like a great start to me. Because I had Elijah Moore. I was really banking on him to have a good year with Deshaun Watson. Just didn't pan out. Not a lot you could do.
No.
So my start is it's kind of like a duh, but it's against a really bad matchup. We got Nico Collins. So if you did watch the Texans last week, Tank Dell went down with an ankle injury, probably out for the rest of the season, which means Nico Collins is going to be a week-to-week starter. He's got to be in your starting lineup. But this week you might think it's like a coin flip because he is playing the Jets. The Jets are the best defense against wide receivers for fantasy football this year. But Zach Wilson's starting. So I don't see the Jets being on offense that, too awful lot. I think you give C.J. Stroud a lot of chances with the football. He's going to find Nico Collins quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I went back and forth deciding whether to say to be big and different, say sit Nico Collins, but man, over just any of his healthy games over the last 6 or 7 weeks have been nuts. But yeah, I like that. My next start.
Jets offense, man, they're bad.
The Jets offense is really, really bad. My next start's going to be Isaiah Likely, Baltimore's backup tight end. The Rams give up the third most fantasy points per game to tight ends, and last week he led the Ravens in receiving yards. Over Zay Flowers, Odell, Rashad Bateman, any of those guys. And last year in the 3 games that Mark Andrews missed, Likely had 25 targets throughout those games. And I would assume that the Ravens are going to get back to using him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with Mark Andrews down, Isaiah Likely really didn't miss a step in picking up that tight end 1 role. I think he's going to be a great start, especially with I don't really think Lamar's going to go to the air with OBJ being his number 1 right now either. It's just kind of I don't know what's going on over there with the Baltimore Ravens, to be honest. But yeah, Mark Andrews goes down, he's going to find someone to spread it out to. This week I got Evan Ingram as my start, so it's looking like Beathard might be the quarterback for probably the next, probably until playoffs. I want to say high ankle sprain's nothing to mess around with, especially if you are making it to the playoffs. The Jags will make it to the playoffs. But Beathard's got the Browns, which is going to be a tough matchup. I don't think he's going to try and go deep to any of his receivers. I think he's going to check it down to Evan Ingram like he did in his few snaps against the Bengals. So he gets in there. I think Evan Ingram was at 50 yards, already having a great night. Ingram ends the game with 82 yards. So, I mean, I really think that those 4 catches for 32 yards or something like that, I think that's going to be the storyline of that game. It's going to be a lot of check downs to Ingram.
Yeah, no, Beathard threw the ball 10 times in his start or in his time playing for the Jags Thursday or Monday night. Was it Monday night?
It was Monday night. Yes,
and I think 5 targets went to Ingram.
That's what I'm saying. It was a check down masterpiece game. I needed 18 more yards for the legendary ticket to hit, but
I know.
It's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I went back and forth deciding whether to sit Evan Ingram or Calvin Ridley, but when I went and looked to see how many targets Ingram and Ridley both got from Beathard, Ingram and Etienne led the way from Beathard, but Ridley only had 1 target. But I just couldn't say sit Ridley just with how well he's been playing.
No, absolutely not. He would have had a monster bomb for Ridley, and that would have been a game winner if they didn't get called back. So
yeah, that's why I saw that as well, and I'm like, yeah, screw that. We're not gonna say that.
I'm not gonna risk that shit.
But my first sit, we're gonna go back to the wishing well and pray that he doesn't make me look as dumb as he did last week. Matthew Stafford. He had a great game against the Browns. But
sure
the
did.
Ravens allow the least amount of fantasy points per game to quarterbacks, not the second least like the Browns. Other than the last 2 weeks, though, Stafford has only thrown more than 1 touchdown 1 time this year. other than the last 2 weeks, Citrus has 7 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. So with the Ravens, also only allowed one quarterback to surpass 20 fantasy points at all this year. So I don't like Stafford this week. I know I said that last week, but I don't like him again.
Yeah, I mean, I was debating on putting Puka as my sit of the week, but with his injury, I don't know if he has cracked ribs or whatever he's going through. I think he willed his way back into the game because he was on like his own legendary level of a game. Like he wanted to just have a great game. One of 3 rookies to ever go for 150 yards in a game. By the way, I don't know if you've seen that stat, but Puka
I
Nacua,
did see that.
monster. So my sit's probably going to be a little controversial and I might look stupid, but I'm actually rolling with it. I'm sitting Justin Herbert this week. I really do feel like this Broncos team is a step ahead of this Chargers team that's not going to make the playoffs. They're just absolutely getting beat down. The coaching change is coming probably this week if they lose to the division game against the Broncos. The Broncos are what is that? AFC West? I was trying to think of the division.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, if they lose this divisional game to the Broncos, who everyone touted as the worst team before the season started in that division, I just don't see Brandon Staley having a job. Justin Herbert hasn't looked great, hasn't went over, 250 yards. He went 260, but yeah, he hasn't went over 300 yards since fucking like week 3, so yeah, I'm not bought in. I don't think he's going to have a good week. I bet he throws a couple picks to Pat Surtain. Not going to be a good week.
No, I could see that. I mean, we're at the point in the season where Justin Herbert's not a startable fantasy QB right now. And that really hurts me to say because I went into this year assuming the Chargers would be 13-4, 12-5, great looking team, great defense, like all them defensive players they brought in, and it's just really just terrible. And they can't blame it on not having Mike Williams or, like...
Yeah, it's not like...
Yeah.
I mean, he'd probably be in a lot better situation if old Quentin Johnson wouldn't drop every single bass that was thrown at him. But, I mean, not a whole lot you can do there.
Yeah, kind of nutty that Quentin Johnston was the first wide receiver taken. And, well, he may not have been the first.
Catch the ball.
Yeah, he was.
Catch the ball.
And all the wide receivers they had listed after him all had like double the yards than Quentin Johnston.
I thought
did.
Jordan Addison was the first.
See, I think Addison may have been the first, and then it was
because
Johnston.
I know they went off the board quick, like 20, 21, 22. Like it went like
there was
Addison, Johnston, JSN, Zay Flowers. Like they all went right before the Giants could get one. I was brokenhearted.
Yeah, and then the Bills wanted one and ended up just drafting Dalton Kincaid in the first round instead. Yeah, so that was kind of nutty. But yeah, my next sit is DeAndre Swift, just like last week.
Oh, okay, good. Me too.
Yeah, he was great last week for a sit. And he's going up against a really, really tough defense in the Dallas Cowboys. And he took a really, really hard hit last week. I mean, his soul left his freaking body. And only ended up finishing with 20 total yards. So with Dallas being the 4th toughest matchup against running backs, I think he's going to be bad one more time. But after this Dallas game, it should be really, really smooth sailing for Swift in the fantasy playoffs, playing 3 very easy matchups.
So my reasoning, I agree completely. Swift was my sit. He had 18 carries against the Cowboys last time he played. 43 yards.
Yeah.
Average of 2.4. And then he only had 2 catches, but he did have 31 yards per catch. But that's still like 7 fantasy points. Can't really have that. It's just not good enough. It's not going to cut it right now, especially if you're trying to grind for a playoff spot. There are so many better places to play DeAndre Swift, and right now it's on the bench.
Yep.
Well, you go ahead and hit the wide receiver since we matched.
Yeah, so you kind of hit on this being a really tough matchup. I'm sitting Noah Brown. He looks like the easy start after having 2 30-plus point games before his 2-week injury stint, and now with the injury to Tank Dell, which is super dumb, by the way, blocking for a run in the middle of the play. Super dumb.
Awful, dude.
Tank Dell's a very small guy. He's out for season just because they wanted him to block in the end zone. Anyway. And in Noah Brown's first game back from his 2-game injury stint, he played a season-high 81% snap share and only came away with 2 targets and no catches. So I know Stroud didn't throw the ball as many times as he normally does, but still, the Jets are the toughest matchup against wide receivers this year, and I really just don't see him having a great day. I could see Stroud having a decent day, Nico having a decent day, but not Noah Brown.
Yeah, there's only going to be a few bright spots against that Jets defense, and I'm afraid it's probably only going to be locked down to like Stroud, Singletary, maybe Dameon Pierce, and then Nico Collins. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. But that's going to be it's going to be a tough game for everyone. But Noah Brown might catch a 80-yard bomb in the third quarter. You never know. Third quarter, Noah Brown goat. My sit is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. So they're playing the 49ers. The last time they played, he did not look great. He was held to 3 catches for 41 yards. Last week, he did have a season-high 11 targets with 7 catches for 62 yards. That looks good to fantasy managers, especially in PPR, that, oh man, look at all those target shares, because, DK is getting a whole lot of attention, but it's against the Niners this week. I really don't see it happening. Like I said, for Noah Brown, there's probably going to be a few bright spots, and JSN's probably not going to be one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I actually just dropped JSN in a league because I needed to pick up Zeke because, Ramondre's been out. They're going to be out, which I like Zeke as a start this week too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, JSN's still projected like 10 points. I just don't see it. I don't see him getting 10. He's going to get clamped.
Too much competition there for targets. But my last sit, Pat Freiermuth.
Okay, we're 2 for 4 on 6. That's incredible.
He's just 1 game removed from his first career 100-yard performance. And last week he came back down to earth with 5.9 fantasy points. And the Patriots allow the 5th least amount of fantasy points per game to tight ends this year at 6.7 points. So just about what he got last week. And with Trubisky starting at QB, this offense will move even slower than it did with Pickett. So, yeah.
I'm not too big on this game. The lowest over-under of the season, Thursday Night Football. We got an over-under of 30. That still might be a good one to hit the under on. We can get into that here in a second. I'm not a big fan of that game. I don't think anyone's going to have a good game. Thank God DeMario Douglas is out, so I don't even have to contemplate starting or sitting him. That's all I got to say.
I saw that Douglas was going to be out. I was like, man, that ain't nothing good.
That is going to be a stinker. So, I think I got a good one if you want to jump into our plays of the week, but I'll let you go first if you have yours ready.
Oh boy, it's a little controversial. My play of the week is a plus 210 money line.
Thank God you're joining the train. Let's go.
Patriots money line Thursday night to beat the Steelers plus 210. Zeke is going to have a vintage day. And it's going to be probably the under 30-point total. And that's okay because the Patriots have allowed 10 or less points in the last 3 games. And I think they could come away with a win here against the Trubisky-led Steelers.
Yeah, I'm 100% taking the Patriots money line. I had no idea it was that juicy. I love that play of the week. That's gonna be a slapper.
Yep.
Man,
I mean,
I'm glad you took the
I don't know why they're giving Steelers 6 points. 6.
I don't think the Steelers can score 6 points.
That's what I'm afraid of. Like, are they going to even score 6? Like, how are the Patriots going to have
over under
6?
might be 6. What are you talking about? Well, mine's not near as fun now that you said that. I got Kansas City having a cool little bounce back. So, as you know, I took the plus 220 on the Packers last week against them. Absolutely smacked it. That was juicy. But this week they're playing the Buffalo Bills at home. They own Buffalo in Arrowhead. They're at minus 125. That is pretty close to even money. I love these lines on good teams that are looking for bounce backs wins. Give me minus 125 Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good money line. That's a good spread. That's a good over-under, 48.5, 1.5 point
It's very
spread.
fair, and I
Yeah.
like fair money
And
lines like that.
Chiefs usually do bounce back after a game like last week. Yeah.
And especially since they're getting to gear up in Arrowhead, yeah, it's time. They're about to prime.
Nope, I like that a lot. Yep.
Yes, sir. All right, you ready for our game picks? You want to hit us with the recap of last week?
So, you definitely had the best week of the season. You ended up going 10-3.
Let's go.
Yep.
We should have been 11-2, but sneaky little Bengals.
The
What
Bengals
happened there?
snuck it out, baby.
Sneaky little Jake Browning.
Did take a lot or force a loss on both of us, but yeah, both of us went Cowboys. We both lost on the Steelers. You got the Falcons over the Jets. I didn't. Dolphins, Chargers. You did pick the Texans again. They're saving your ass.
I love those Texans, man.
Yeah, you picked the Browns over the Rams. Got that one wrong. You picked the Packers over
I
the
was
Chiefs.
rooting
Got
for
that
'em.
one right. So I
Sure
mean,
did.
yeah, got a couple good ones on me. You went 10-3, put you at 101-92, and
Big
I
bounce
ended up
back.
going 8-5, put me at 125-68. So still got
Go. Only
24
23 games back. 24. Let's go. I'm
Yep,
back in
so,
it.
Yep, 4 more weeks.
Still a lot of time.
Yep.
And playoffs. Come on.
Playoffs count?
I think we should start over in the playoffs and do we'll see how it goes. I think we should do the spreads, so we have like separate. So we do spreads in the playoffs because there's less games and
Yeah, okay.
better to keep track of. Yeah,
Okay. All right, well, Thursday night, what I just talked about. I'm going the fucking Patriots.
yeah, 100%. And if you're scared to take Patriots money line, I implore you to take the Patriots at +6. I don't. It seems free. I don't know. This score, it might end 0-0. I don't know. 3-0 is likely. 3-2 is even more likely. There might be just a random
Bet
safety
on that
in the middle of that
scoregami.
game.
Bet on that scoregami.
Scoregami. But yeah, no, Patriots 100%.
Yeah.
And the Patriots at +6 is the freest money line of the day.
Yep.
Not
For
money
sure,
line,
for sure.
spread.
Yep.
First noon game, I have Bucks Falcons. Who do you got here?
Cody always wants me to pick against the Bucks because every time we pick the Bucks, they win or they lose.
They lose, yeah.
So I'm gonna go Bucks here.
I'm also going Bucks. I love the Bucks here at -102. That's going to be a parlay ad all day long. It's juicy. I love it. And it's an NFC South matchup, so we know those games get down and dirty.
yeah. Probably be pretty low scoring, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
Probably going to be 13-7.
I am just gonna say I'm just taking the Bucks, so they lose and Cody gets mad at me. So that's all I want to add to that.
Yeah. Next game, I think this one's going to be a sneaky good one. We got Rams-Ravens. I'm going Ravens.
No, yeah, Ravens, but I honestly like the 7-point spread isn't bad with like how much the Rams have been scoring. Kyron
Yeah.
Williams is looking fantastic, and this Rams offense is moving. I don't think Stafford will have a good fantasy day, but I think he could have a good football day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, +7's kind of stout. The Ravens really don't blow teams out. They win
No.
close games. They just score a lot of points. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, they blew out the Lions. We can't forget about that.
Kind of honestly a crazy 40 points total.
I like it. I don't mind the over-under at 40. I think it's fair. Well, next game, we got another NFC South matchup. I won't be tuning into this one a lick. We got Panthers-Saints.
No, yeah, this can be a terrible game. Jameis Winston, Bryce Young, not going to be a good game. I still feel like I have to go Saints. I can't pick the Panthers to win a game this year.
No, I'm also going Saints. I actually might tune it on. Let's be real. If Jameis Winston is getting the start here, Derek Carr is still hurt, no?
Yeah, I think he concussion, shoulder, back. They had like 3 tags on him.
All right, they circled all of the above. But
Yeah.
if Jameis Winston is the QB, I'm completely down with Olave going for a 40-point day. I love it when Jameis Winston just throws the ball and closes his eyes. That dude's a monster. Next game, we got an NFC North matchup between the Lions and the Bears.
No,
This money line is crazy close for what I think this game is going to be.
Yeah, no, I like the Lions here. I don't understand why it's that close.
Yeah, the minus 3.5 points is stupid disrespectful. I think I'm going to take Lions like alternate spread like minus 7.5 or minus 8.
Well, yeah, you got plus 100 on minus 3.5, like,
which is directly even money. That's wild. That's free. Yeah, I'm not sure what they know, if they know something more than we know, but I doubt it.
Big Fields Day incoming?
Big Fields Day, I guess, man. I'm going to bet on Fields 200 rushing yards.
Yep.
Yeah, something wild. All right, I'm actually super stoked for this game. We got Colts Bengals, battle of the backup QBs. Who you got?
You know, I like the Jake Browning call and everything, but the Colts have been pretty great. I'm going to go Colts here because Gardner Minshew is playing on top of his game for sure.
Yeah, I absolutely love Gardner Minshew. I'm rolling with Gardner Minshew and the Colts. I think Jake Browning will keep it close and have fun with it. I think that over 44 is likely.
Yeah.
I think this one's probably 27-24 or something like that. So, I mean, I don't see the defenses stopping too many bombs. So, yeah, we love it. Next game, I'm not sure how this one's going to turn out. Jags versus the Browns.
Jags-Browns, if they're saying Trevor Lawrence has a chance of playing this week. I don't think there's any shot.
There's no way.
But, well, he's probably going to play next week. They said he wasn't going to miss much time. The injury looked so much worse than it actually was. But I am going to go ahead and take Joe Flacco and the Browns. But this game could go anyway.
I don't know why they would rush back Trevor Lawrence. That doesn't make any sense to me. They pretty much lost out on their chances to get the number 1 seed because the Ravens are going to run away with this after they win this week.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason to rush him back at all. Don't really get the draw on that, especially if it's a high ankle sprain.
Check that over under.
Silly. Over under at 30.5. I'm taking the Browns, and I'm taking the over 30.5. The Browns aren't terrible at putting up points. They put up points last week.
Yeah, Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, a
lot of disrespect to the old Beathard train.
Yeah, Beathard's not great though. But
yeah. Well,
30.5.
It's a little wild. This next matchup is going to be the game I watch on Sunday afternoon mainly because my boy, the Stroud pleasers, coming to MetLife. Give me C.J. Stroud and the Texans over the Jets.
Yeah, no, 100%. Jets are ass. Zach Wilson's playing. Texans are going to win. Could be a tougher game for Stroud. You know, may make some more mistakes, but thankfully the Jets are bad enough that he can make mistakes.
Yeah, and this over-under is also crazy at 33.5. We're having, record-breaking. Our lowest of the season so far is 33, and we've already had 2 that have beat it and 1 close, so that's wild.
Yep.
This over-under is insanity. We got the Seahawks and the Niners for the first 3 o'clock game. I'm going to roll with the Niners here.
Yeah, no, for sure. 49ers are going to win this game. They could end up putting a spanking on the Seahawks, but I could also see the Seahawks staying competitive.
Yeah, 47 points is crazy, but it can be done. The 49ers can probably score 40 on their own like they did against the Eagles. They scored 2? Shit. 45, I don't even know what it was.
They scored 40-something against the Cowboys, too.
Yeah, I know. They're pretty solid offense whenever they get rolling. I mean, Deebo Samuel absolutely made the Eagles his son. Fun to see. I loved every second of that game.
That was a good game.
Next game, we got the Vikings and the Raiders.
Yeah, you know, I went back and forth on this one when I was thinking about it earlier. And I think I'm going to go Raiders here. The Raiders have been very good since Antonio Pierce took over as head coach. And their defense has been surprisingly great against the run. If you look at all the numbers and everything, the Raiders have let up a lot of points per game to running backs. And that's why I thought about starting Alexander Mattison. But if you look at the last, since Antonio Pierce has been in, the Raiders defense has really been good against running backs. So I figure Justin Jefferson's first game back, not playing with Josh Dobbs. Like, I don't know. I think the Raiders end up pulling this one out.
I honestly got talked into that. I'm with the Raiders as well. I'm really a big fan of Max Crosby. I think he's going to get home. It's going to be a rough night for the Pastronaut, who's coming off a pretty shit show showing against the Bears. I mean, Justin Jefferson might change it. I doubt it. Not a whole lot of wide receiver one can do unless he starts taking snaps at QB. So next 3 o'clock game, probably going to be the best one out of the showing here. We got the Bills and the Chiefs. You already know my answer. We're rolling Chiefs. Who you got?
Yeah, no, I went Chiefs last week, and they burned me, so we got to go with them again. Bills just don't have something about them that's just not working.
Something's missing.
Yeah,
something's missing, and I'm pretty sure it's Sean McDermott. But he got
Sean McDermott
he got the pass.
needs to
They
be
said
missing.
he's not getting fired. He needs to.
He needs to be missing. Yeah, they'd
he's
do better.
Still going to be there, unfortunately.
Defensive head coaches,
they don't pan out, man. They just never do. Last 3 o'clock game, we got the Broncos and the Chargers. I'm taking the Broncos at plus 120 here.
I really could see a Chargers bounce back game here. Broncos coming off a loss. Chargers coming off a barely win. I'm going to go with the Chargers here.
They need to have a bounce back win. They got to have a bounce back season. So, I mean, they're literally a game within the Giants right now, and that's insane. So, I mean, can't do all that.
That's our first
7:20. I'm going to love every second of this game. We got the Eagles versus the Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, give me the Cowboys too. I honestly didn't expect them to be favorites. Everyone
not
was
minus 192 favorites.
Yeah,
for sure.
Everyone was mad about the Eagles not being favorites to the Niners, and now they're not favorites to the Cowboys. That over under of 52 is massive.
Insanity.
But yeah, we so far we've only had one game that's different, and that's that last game, Chargers Broncos. Otherwise, we are the same.
that is funny. Oh man, well, these are kind of just easy picks this week.
I mean, I wouldn't say easy. They're just better. We have our favorite teams.
Yeah, that's fair. Next game,
Monday night.
I consider this one an easy football. Not an easy football, an easy pick. For the first game of the doubleheader, we got the Titans and the Dolphins. Both these games are starting at 7:15. By the way, we should all petition the NFL that it's stupid if at least start one at 5 and start one at 7. This is almost as dumb as the afternoon Black Friday game, in my opinion. But go ahead and give me the Dolphins at minus 850.
Oh yeah, I already wrote you down the Dolphins.
the juiciest money line of all of them, minus 850.
Minus
Lock it
850.
in. $850 to win 100. Let's go. That's a sweet bet. Now, this game, this might be interesting. We got the Packers and the Giants. I actually do. Man, I can't say the Giants. It's going to be the Packers.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't go full retard there.
Well, I wanted to.
Now.
I'm
if
trying to
Tyrod
regain.
Taylor plays, do you feel better?
No, I feel worse. I would take the Packers spread if Tyrod plays.
You really?
The offense looks fantastic with Tommy DeVito. All right, I absolutely I'm it was a joke at first, but getting to watch touchdown passes again. It's been invigorating. It's changed my whole entire outlook on the season. I was looking forward to the draft, but now I'm kind of looking forward to playing the Saints in Week 15, getting Darren Waller back, because at least maybe we'll win 6 games. That's still cool. We're only 2 games out of the playoffs, surprisingly. We're not a playoff team, but that's just the state of the NFC, by the way.
Yeah, the bottom end. It's really crazy how one of the NFC South teams are going to make the playoffs, and they're all terrible.
Yeah, it's going to be another 6-10 team makes the playoffs, but we're going to see it. So, yeah, that's about all I got. You any closing arguments, Your Honor?
Nope, we're good.
All right, guys, make sure to check out the TikTok and the Twitter. And yeah, that's it. Peace.